Got it. Okay, guys.
Dr.Goo.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Lock and we're gonna be going live again with Ben at that cologne guy. So what's going on, Ben? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Like I told you, I'm gonna power through, and I'm glad that we did this today. And I'm gonna use this as my inspiration because, around when I first woke up, I really didn't have a voice. So I'm gonna power through. I'm doing all right.
Okay. Okay, good. So what's your scent of the day today?
My scent of the day is one that I've got my list here of the ones that you sent in,
Okay.
and I don't know if you saw, but I did a Bentley Intense review with your sample.
I did.
And then subscriber Brian sent me a bottle.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I
he's
saw
just
that.
yeah, I mean, it's just blows me away every time. So I had a bottle, so I did a part 2 of that, review, and then that's what I've been wearing lately and today.
You wearing it today?
I am. Probably I don't know about the last day, but we're getting close because, like, today I don't know about where you are, but it's like a miserable, cold, rainy day here.
Really?
Yeah, we'll be inside most of the day. So, I need something to give me some kick, and Bentley Intense will certainly do that.
Oh, okay. I'm wearing Polo Green by Ralph Lauren.
You like that one, don't you?
I love it. I at least wear it once a week, at least,
Um,
not
I,
more.
that one seems like it's climbing up the charts. And if I had to offer what I think Dr.Goo would say would be his top 10 favorite, at least current, I feel like that one would make the list.
Oh yeah, yeah. Top 10 for life. That would be in there for sure, no doubt.
Dang. And you said I know you mentioned this last time, but I want to make sure I get it right. For Polo Green, it's a reformulation of the original, correct?
I mean, I yeah, I would say it's a reformulation. I mean,
Okay.
it's not. Well, yeah, they had to reformulate it because IFRA and stuff. Like they can't use like real oak moss. And
Exactly. I just wanted to make sure. What was the one that we talked about that they released and then now it's like discontinued, but it was like a newer, I think it was like, wasn't it Polo Green, like Parfum or something?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. And it was like a reinterpretation, or Modern Reserve. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
That's what it was called. And that's the one that you cannot get anymore, or at least that they discontinued it. You'd have to really search high and low for it. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, Polo Green brings back good memories for me. I've had a small bottle of it a long time ago, but I haven't worn it since like 88, I think.
Really.
Yeah. Not that I don't, I love it actually. It's just one of those things where I haven't, maybe I should, in your honor, maybe I should bust it out. Cause it's been a long time.
Do you
So
still have the bottle or?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, 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 no. It's been a long time for that. So I might have to, look for a small, maybe like a 50 ml or something, and go with it. And because I know you really it does the longevity is really good for you too.
Honestly, it is. The longevity it lasts depending on like how many sprays you do. Like it lasts me all day. And I don't think I said that in my review, but I feel like it's best worn in the fall and in the winter.
Hmm.
Just because in the summer, at least here in Vegas, I mean, it's so hot here.
Yeah,
Sweat will just wick it off your skin,
yeah.
and then it's gone.
In some ways, as a reviewer, though, I think you have. I mean, you can make an argument for both of us because here in Illinois, obviously we have 4 distinct seasons. And
Hmm.
so that's an advantage because, I can really talk about how fragrances do in each season. And in your case, you can talk about which fragrances do well or don't do well in really hot climates,
Yeah.
because, okay, so here's a question for you. Have you ever liked a fragrance but didn't get it just because of where you are?
Uh,
Say something like Burberry London, or something where you liked it, but it's like, man, there's no way I can walk around smelling like Christmas in Vegas.
I don't really think so, to be honest.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, no, I can't even really think of one. If I like it, now I feel like it's more of like if I love it, I'll
Mhm.
get it. But if I just like it, I could probably live without it. You know,
Yeah.
um, it's getting to that point where I really only reach for a handful. Like 20, 30
Mhm.
fragrances. And then the rest are just like, you know, I could honestly live without them.
Could is the
Mhm.
operative word.
That's right. Good. What about you?
Um, no, I can't say that there's ever been a fragrance. I mean, there have been fragrances like Custom National Pour Homme that I would
Mhm.
definitely say that I don't wear in the summer, right?
Okay.
I mean, I can't. But that's only because of it's kind of what you were saying earlier. Like that's only because I have so many now that I can quote have that luxury, right?
Okay.
Because when I was younger, of course, remember I told you I just had one or maybe two, so I would just wear them regardless of season. But now so for me, it's not so much that I'll associate certain ones with seasons, but I will avoid certain ones in hotter climates or something. Again, with the luxury knowing that it's just what 3 4 months that I'm looking at. I don't know that I would wear something like a cinnamon and cloves bomb like Costume National Pour Homme.
In the
Um,
summer.
and yeah, when it's 100 degrees out, exactly.
So
So
were you talking? So when you had asked that question, were you just meaning like as far as just the scent itself goes, or just everything else in general, like the
well, I guess I mean like I have a fair amount of subscribers from very hot climates, and I'm always wondering if they ever smelled a fragrance but they did not buy it because essentially, it'd be difficult for them to pull off.
yeah, like they live in somewhere where it's like really humid or tropical all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
So I was just wondering in your case, it's not tropical maybe, but I mean, it's just hot. So I was just wondering, yeah, if there's one where you think, I really love the smell of it.
Mhm.
I guess the answer is probably no, though. If you're rocking polo green, then you'll probably,
I mean, the funny thing is, like with especially here in Vegas, in the winter, it does get cold.
mm,
I mean, like what 3 days ago it snowed.
oh,
I
really?
Yeah, I mean it was raining. I think it snowed yet. I think it snowed yesterday.
Okay,
It was raining a lot the previous day and really cloudy. And then once the clouds moved, we're surrounded by mountains here. So I'm looking down my window right now. I can see the mountain. Um,
cool.
and there was a whole bunch of snow on the mountain. So like in the winter, I mean, it does get down to 30s, low 20s,
Oh, perfect.
but nothing lower than that. But that only lasts for like 3-ish months, and then
Uh-huh.
it starts getting a little warmer, and then it's
Okay.
summertime where it's 120. So I feel like we get kind of 4 seasons here,
Uh-huh.
but not more or less like 3,
Sure,
so
but there's more variety than I was thinking. I was thinking
Mhm.
maybe it was more like maybe Arizona.
Nah, Arizona's
Okay.
crazy. It gets ridiculously hot there.
It does. You're not lying there. In fact, we went one time to Phoenix for a baseball game, and we got there, and then the next day, I think it was like 121 or 124. It was so hot that the recycling bins near
Mhm.
people's houses were melting.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a scorcher.
it's a
Uh,
dry heat too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was funny because I went with a buddy and it said something like, "Oh, the hotel's like, I think it was a half mile from the stadium." So we thought, perfect, we won't need a car. And we
Yeah.
were the only ones on the sidewalk. And then we were thinking, why are we? And then about, after about 40 steps, I think we realized why why we were the only ones out walking along
Yeah,
a Phoenix sidewalk
you don't even wanna go outside when it's that hot.
when it's that hot with the misters, raining down on us. So,
Mhm.
I decided to do. I made a list, if it's okay. I
Yeah,
made a
that's
list of the ones that you kindly sent me in
okay.
your package, and I just wanted to go over them, real quick. The only one I didn't review was one. I think it was Leighton, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I had already reviewed that one.
Okay.
And so I sent that one to Brian. I included that in my thank you for his Bentley
Okay.
Intense, and well, that was for his birthday.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
now that I think about it, yeah, because February is Subscriber Brian Appreciation Month, so so I sent him a birthday gift, and I included that in there because that was the one I had reviewed before. The rest of them I had not, though. So let's go down the list. You really, I mentioned in one of my episodes, you really do know me, though. You know my styles because you really hit the jackpot. In fact, I was kind of worried, if anything, that people would think I'm too, lenient with my review here. But it's just because you know me so well. I started off with Dylan Blue.
Okay.
Dylan Blue ended up being the lowest rated, which was still 4 out of 5. It's
Yeah.
just, that was probably the one that, like, right now, if you asked me to describe the exact note breakdown, yeah, I might have to look at my notes. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I mean, it smelled very good. I liked it.
But
Um,
it's forgettable
it it
in a
it
sense.
in a sense it is. In a sense it is. It's very good. And like I mentioned in that review, that was one of the few where subscribers reached out and said, you need to get a bottle of this one. So I really wanted to at least try it. Then I hit Fahrenheit, which of course, is the probably, I mean, on one hand, I can count how many fragrances I didn't like originally and then ended up really liking.
Mhm.
Fahrenheit is just works great on my skin.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's so, and I really enjoyed wearing that one a lot. And then the Fahrenheit Le Parfum was good. I don't like it more than Fahrenheit,
Okay.
so I felt like I had to give it a 4. I mean, I guess I could have given it a 5. I The vanilla is good, and I had a few people write in and say it was definitely maybe because I had a sample, but that because if I had a full bottle, the longevity was fine. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to take off for that. But yeah, I mean, I I thought it was very, very good. I personally would just rather have the original, but that's just me.
Was it too like, it's a little bit too sweet, huh? Gets a little
Well,
sweet.
maybe not sweet. I just maybe more booziness. I mean, the vanilla to
Yeah.
me took a little edge out of
Okay.
the gasoline slash petrol,
Mhm.
rugged vibe to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure if I like that. I'm not really sure if it deserves a flanker name. I think it almost should be a different one, but that's just me.
Yeah, it
Um,
should be its own thing
yeah, yeah, and
altogether.
that because I think that was one of the issues. I mean, but it's rock solid. And then the next 3 are all 5 out of 5. Déclaration Parfum is one that and I know you commented on that one. I mean, it is a masterpiece. I mean, it really is high perfumery. It's just that, man, I mean, I really had to put a ton on.
Yeah. Longevity is asinine.
I mean, it really is. That's the only thing I can come up with, though. I mean, everything else was just so. I don't actually. Let's talk about that. One thing that's hard for me is, I guess I put them on an even playing ground field, but playing field. But for me, it's like sometimes it can be hard if a fragrance has a good smell but great longevity versus fantastic fragrance but it's fleeting and doesn't have good longevity. I
Mhm.
almost feel like in my reviews they offset, but it's difficult sometimes because I feel like I do want to give a little bit more. Me personally, I'd probably weigh a little higher longevity over the absolute fantastic smell. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're spending the money, you want something at least gonna last at least, like, 8 hours.
I mean, you
Because
know,
then where are you gonna really wear the fragrance? Like, when you come home and it's gonna be fleeting off your skin in 2 hours, and then you
yeah,
gotta, like, reapply, and
yeah.
I just then you gotta carry a sample thing with you, or you gotta carry the whole bottle with you. It's just not,
No,
you know.
but for those of you that are going to view this eventually, I will say this. I mean, I was really surprised in Fragrantica and the discussion groups years ago, but how many people just totally give longevity a free pass,
Yeah,
and they'll say, "Yep, it's for me. I could care less if anyone else picks it up. That's fine too. I mean, I totally understand that mentality, but wouldn't you want to smell it too? you
yeah.
know, it's like it's one thing though to want to just have it close to your skin and you smell it. I totally understand that. Um, but it's another thing not to be able to smell it at all.
Yeah.
I find that to be very disconcerting. I don't like that feeling, especially if I'm giving, well, any money, but especially once we talk into 100 and up, you better give
Yeah.
me, yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hours.
Yeah.
Not so the Declaration Parfum, unfortunately didn't cut the mustard when it comes to the longevity, but I mean that was really the only thing that I
Only
and
issue.
yeah, that I can come up with. And so see, so I'm bringing all this up because if on my channel something like some people would like this, some people would not. That's why this is all subjective.
Yeah.
For me, something like Bentley Intense is going to end up with the same rating as Declaration Parfum. And
Yeah.
so a lot of frag heads would scoff at that, right? And say, "Oh my god." uh, I can't believe, right, that you would even consider putting something like bug spray that is Bentley Intense in the same rating as something with Declaration Parfum. But I just feel like they do offset for me. In other words, yes, it's better quality. Yes, it smells divine. It
Yeah.
smells like luxury. It really does. It's just, man, I had to, you know,
Really spray that thing a lot.
clothes multiple
Yeah.
times a day. I mean, so they do offset. So that's why I gave the next one, Bentley Intense, excuse me. I also gave that a 5, and I did a 2-part series on that one. And yeah, I mean, I think we can all, when it comes to Natalie Lorson, I mean, I think if there's one thing to agree on in the frag community is she maybe, well, for me she's the best, but she is in the top 3 as far as delivering the best product for the least amount of money.
Definitely.
She's an amazing paraphernalia. I love her work, and I love the fact that a lot of it is, for obvious reasons, relatively inexpensive. So super excited to own that one, and I'm really enjoying that one. And then the last one, probably my favorite, was the last one, totally at random, and that was it. Although, well, it was. It's funny because for Ojan,
Yeah.
yeah, for Ojan, I did, I like to, I love researching the nomenclature and where it's from and all that. And I really got into that one. And
Yeah.
it's a
Like a
small
history lesson.
area in northern Iran. And that was really cool to check out. And I really enjoyed that. I don't know that that's wildly popular on YouTube episodes. So maybe,
I mean, it was interesting. I liked it.
uh,
I enjoyed it.
thank you, because it was funny because the Bentley Intense one, you know how when you wake up the next morning when your reviews come out and then it has, like, if it's the most popular, it'll say 1 out of 10,
Yeah.
right? And it's got the fireworks.
Yeah.
And of course, we say we don't really care, but it is cool to see when it shoots and catapults right up to number 1 and then all the
Exactly.
fireworks go off. Yeah, I do admit that I like that. It's an endorphin rush. But I will say I was surprised because the Ojan, it was funny because I woke up and I think it was like for most of the week it was like 9, is next
Yeah.
to last. So maybe people don't like the history, but I really enjoyed wearing that one and researching that one, and that was definitely one that I'll probably end up getting at some point.
Yeah. Ojon is since you love cinnamon,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a cinnamon bomb,
it
you know?
is. It is a cinnamon bomb, and I just find it divine. And that was a really fun one to wear. In fact, actually, because of the Bentley Intense, second week, unexpected, because Brian sent me the bottle. I
Yeah.
had already started the Ojan, right, or Ojan, whatever.
Yeah.
I had already started it, and so once he sent that bottle, I went ahead and let it go. And I was thinking to myself that I had used all of it, but I actually had about 2 days left before I
Really.
ended up reviewing it. Yeah, so that was really fun to revisit it again. So that was definitely 2 thumbs up. On my list, I would say, yeah, Dylan Blue is my least favorite. Still liked it though. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, if I had to choose the least, and then my favorite was Ojan.
I mean, Dylan Blue, I feel like that one's like it's good for like the summer, uh, or like the spring. It's
Hmm.
like it's like a freshie, really.
Yeah.
Kind of smells along the lines of really any blue fragrance. one of the first ones I got as far as fragrances go.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Yeah.
so versatile.
Well, it is, and I am kind of to the point where, well, in all fairness, though, well, I've got 2 points. One would be, eh, I am at the point finally when I do agree that the freshies can kind of smell similar, and that once like I already have a few, so then what's the is
Yeah.
it that different? Now the counter argument though, but you could really make that argument probably for any type of fragrance really. Sometimes the freshies get a bad rap, I think.
I mean, because they don't really last that long.
You think
Not,
that's what it is?
I think so because I mean the freshies, as far as like the ones for like summer, um, they might last you 5, 4, 5, 6 hours, which honestly is unacceptable.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
like you've tried Beach Hut, right? That's kind of like a freshie, but that one lasts all day long.
Yeah, that's one reason why both of us love that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I
So,
would even use the word there's something addicting about that one.
mhm.
I don't know if I could put it into words, but I would just say it's one of those ones that, oh man, it has a very addicting quality to it.
Yeah. Um, hmm. Is there any other fragrances that you're looking at to sample or to try? Like,
Hmm. Um. Well, let me think about that. And while I'm thinking, I will say one of the other ones too that I've been wearing lately, besides Bentley Intense, that is another one that, yeah, I really enjoy, especially on the cheap, is Latafa's Oud Mood.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
okay.
Remember that one?
Yeah,
Comes in the can,
yeah,
and like a Pringles can,
yeah,
and that one is one that I've really been rocking lately. I actually really enjoy that one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, really, really good stuff. So let me think. So I'm still looking for the what is it? The Eau Sauvage Parfum
Okay.
2000. What is it? There were two of them. So it's
Yeah,
like
the
two,
old
yeah,
style one.
yeah,
And the
2012 and 2017.
okay.
And so I have this 17, and then I'm still looking for the original one with like the frankincense and the just has like the myrrh in it.
Oh, okay. You
Um,
try you try Reddit? Looking on Reddit?
no, I'd
That's
actually kind of given up, had kind of given up, but and then the other one would be uh, it was one of those. Let's see, Polo Oud Supreme Oud.
Supreme Oud by Polo?
By Ralph
Okay.
Lauren, I should
Ralph
say.
Lauren. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, or Lauren, yeah. Um, uh, that one is another one that I would really want to get at some point. I really liked it. I just can't seem to, yeah,
Find it.
find it. Yeah.
Huh.
Um,
It's that one must be discontinued. I don't even think I've heard of
it
it.
is discontinued, and actually, one. It's funny. You can maybe while I'm talking, you can name what you would go with. One of the cheapies that really flies under the radar, and I can't say I would give it a glowing review, but it has the intangibles. It has one of those, I can't quite place it, but I really like it element to it, which is Vera Wang for men. So
Hmm.
that Vera Wang is known for, like, wedding dresses principally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vera Wang has at least had one and only one. Maybe that's changed though. One fragrance and for men, and that was called Vera Wang for men. And it, I don't know what it is, but there is definitely something there. It's ultra cheap. You can get it for like 20-25 bucks.
Really?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that one. I would actually, because I found myself wanting to get another bottle of it, again, and kind of revisit it. I really like that one. It is super cheap, clearly synthetic, clearly a designer, but I just liked it. I just wish I had, I wish there were like Vera Wang Extreme or something.
Really?
Yeah, because the
I never even
longevity
heard of
just,
that.
it's really good. It's a very good one, and like I said, it's another one that I would recommend. I would definitely include that on a top 10, maybe even as an honorable mention. It might just kind of barely, make an honorable mention, but it would be in the episode for cheapies.
Okay. I guess if I could name my cheapie, it would probably have to be Versace blue jeans, man.
Mm,
I mean, that one's just so good. It's like citrus musk, lasts all day long.
I
It's
think,
awesome.
yeah, I did. I that one I did try that once. And
Uh,
in fact, if my mom will eventually watch this. She watches all of these. Um, uh, s- so she actually had somebody come in. She's retired now, but she had someone come into her workplace a while back, and she actually had him write it down, and it was this one.
really?
Yeah, yeah. And she said it's a must, that I must get. She likes those ones though, like Dylan Blue. I mean, she likes the freshies.
The freshies.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I just noticed, we have some, comments.
Oh, really?
I thought they were supposed to show by I thought they were supposed to, like, pop up, like
They will if you do it in settings, but
oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
but one thing, but whoa, here we go.
What's up, Brian? So he said, "Hey, glad I caught the live." Then he said he's wearing Cool Water Eau de Toilette today.
Dang.
That's the classic, that's the good one.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna talk about the Cool Water Intense in a second.
Okay.
Um, good on Brian for reminding me. And then I don't know how to pronounce the name, but
Andre.
uh, on Reze, I have. You're probably better at that than I am.
Well, I've actually been to Poland. I was in Lublin, and it's a wonderful place. It's like a great college town. It was a fantastic trip. Actually, I really enjoyed it. Loved Poland. Went to Warsaw, of course. But with the Z, I'm not sure. I would say I would want to say Andre, but I'm by no means. Yeah.
And Brian says Bentley from Intense.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that one.
Nah. Uh-uh. And Brian says hello. So
Cool. Well, again, remember it's we just finished February of Brian Appreciation Month, so he got his Halston Z14. Lublin is beauty. It is. It was very nice. I was super surprised by how friendly everyone was and how nice. And not only that, but they're not in. They don't use the euro and Andrew. So it's like Andrei, maybe Andrew. They don't use the euro, so it's called zloty, if I'm not mistaken. And so the unit of money, things are quite inexpensive there,
really,
which you don't usually hear, right? Usually it's like everywhere you go, it's really expensive, right?
yeah.
And so I particularly enjoyed that a lot of things were not too bad at all.
So how long ago was this?
So I went in 15.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a great trip, and it was for a conference, and I really enjoyed the Lublin. It's kind of like a Madison, Wisconsin situation, and what I mean by that is like it's a very prominent college town, whatever college town you want to think of.
Okay.
It has a presence of a university in a city that is relatively small, and so the students kind of take over the place, and it was awesome. I would
Really?
definitely recommend it and definitely go back.
That's awesome. Brian says Z14 is great.
Yeah, so that's what he got for his birthday, Halston Z14.
Austin Z14.
Yeah, and then your Leighton sample. Actually, since he's here, let's ask him. Brian, comment and let us know. Let us know what you thought of Leighton if you've tried it yet. You might not have had a chance to try it yet, so let us know.
I don't think I've tried Z14. Don't they have another one too? Like Z,
No, there's another number. What is it? 110, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, 110. I don't know the difference. But
There's Z14 is the one that everyone thinks of.
okay.
It's in fact a lot of guys in the 70s and 80s would even spray it. It's in their beards.
Yeah.
It has a very distinct smell. It's kind of
Okay.
like Polo Green in the sense that it will evoke
Memory.
memories, right? Yeah, yeah. And then 110, if it is that, I think it is. But if I have not had more than a sample of that one, it's quite good. But the one I really like by that house is Amber. That's a great one.
Is it?
Yes, Halston
Okay.
Amber is it's a very it's another one that would probably get very close to making my cheapie list if in fact it didn't even make it out right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Um, hmm. Have you tried the Davidoff Cool Water Intense yet?
I have not.
It's pretty bad.
Is it? I kinda
Yeah,
wondered if you were gonna say that 'cause, you know, I don't know which one you would choose, but I kinda feel like I mean, the whole Cool Water explosion was '89, I loved it when it was out, it was a great time. But I it was kind of a one and done for me.
okay.
I mean, I liked it, but I don't think I liked it as much as other people. Whereas I'm the opposite when it comes to another one. So the early 90s,
Yeah,
everyone, of course, was rocking either Cool Water or Dracar Noir, right?
okay.
And I mean, I have to tell you, I loved Dracar Noir, and I still do to this day.
Do you?
So when people say, "Oh, do you really want to smell like that?" Yeah, every once in a while, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It was a fun fragrance. Obviously, it brings back fun memories, and I would get another bottle. I like that one a lot more than Cool Water, personally.
The Dracar?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So when my point is that when Cool Water Intense came out, I didn't, feel the need to necessarily,
Have to
go
get
for it.
it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Brian says, he thinks that they discontinued
Oh,
the
don't tell me that. Oh man, always the good ones, isn't it?
and Brian says, OG Cool Water, the best.
The best. Yeah. Yeah. It has an ardent following. A buddy of mine, he and his wife have a lot of get togethers over at their house. And he, like, that dude rocks Cool Water like nobody's business.
Does he?
Uh-huh. And every time I, walk by him, I always just think of, the early 90s. Certainly like it. I just don't love it.
Okay. One of my coworkers, Chris, he loves Cool Water. Like he can't get enough of it. Just the original one, the EDT.
Exactly. No, I'm telling you, I mean, it was really, as far as, well, I mean, think about it. It's 89 and you used to call them 80s powerhouses, but really Cool Water was probably one of, if not the first to transition into the 90s freshies.
Okay.
You know, because
Yeah.
before then it was like Fahrenheit. I mean, it was other ones that were more traditionally quote unquote manly, however you want to define that. And then it went into like more of the fresh, clean out of the shower
Type of deal.
fragrances for the night. Yeah, like getting us ready for things like Issey Miyake,
Mm.
which
The
I
Ladisi.
love.
You like the Ladisi?
Oh man, I love that thing. Yeah. So see what I mean? In
Mhm.
fact, like me personally, if I had to choose something like that, I would choose. See, they're not exactly in the same vein though, but I would choose something like L'Odyssée way over Cool Water personally.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I've got a bottle that I'm rocking in my collection right now. See what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Cool Water has an ardent following. So, Brian, how about I'll call it a tie? How's that? Just for you. But
Um.
and then to answer your other question too about
Mhm.
one thing I'm looking for, I don't have too much of an answer. Also, just because I finally did get a bottle of red tobacco by Mancera.
Okay.
And I guess to answer your question, I'm still on the fence on the was it the Cedra Boisé? Isn't that what it's called for the
Yeah.
by Mancera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I I feel like people have said it doesn't have a lot of personality. But me personally, I actually really enjoyed that one a lot.
Okay.
And the only reason why I haven't bought it is because I heard that I know I didn't just hear, I know that the Cedra Boisé Intense came out.
Yeah.
And so I'm on the fence on which one I should get. But
I mean, honestly, I would say just get the intense. To be honest.
would you? Is it essentially the same thing?
No, I
Okay.
mean it kind of is a little bit, but the intense is just more. There's more going on. It
Hmm.
has more character,
Okay.
lasts longer.
Yeah. So
No
there. So
feather.
that would be the one I'm looking for that I have not already, purchased. Of course.
Yeah,
I guess what I mean is that's not discontinued. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
and they're around the same price too.
Okay.
So, and you like if you do you like oud?
I love oud.
Yeah, so then you like it. It's
Yeah,
not really
okay, all right, well, yeah, I typically I guess if I had to say after all these years, I typically will gravitate more toward um, the woodsy, gourmand, fragrances, like, and the spices for, like, the fall and winter.
okay.
Like, I mean, I guess, I mean, if I had to really and sweet ones, I like the ultra sweet ones a lot, so, I mean, you're welcome, Brian. See, that's I would do that for you.
Um,
Do you have a favorite '90s freshie?
mm,
Tommy Hilfiger.
I haven't really tried any Tommy Hilfiger
Uh
fragrances.
huh.
I always see them in the rack store whenever I go there, but I've just never been interested in picking one up.
Some of them really do have a very strong, like, laundry detergent.
Do they?
Yeah. When I think of the '90s, I think of a lot of the ones that were real popular. A lot of them were almost like, how a lot of times we'll say things like an extension of your deodorant. Really, those are like an extension of laundry detergent.
Really?
Yeah, so that's what I mean is a lot of people, would certainly scoff at those. I like Tommy was good. It's decent. I mean, one of those things where I don't know that I would again need to buy more than one bottle. Yeah, there we go. Good one, Brian. Yeah, as far as the '90s, I don't know if I'd call that a freshie. That's kind of a hard one. But if I had to just go by the decade, I would also say Dolce and Gabbana. Is Pour Homme. The original is probably it's going to be difficult to beat that one.
And Julio, he said he's on his lunch break.
Wow. Actually, I was just looking one last time at his scent of the day, which is by Bertus. I think it's called Oud Patchouli. Is that what it was called? Um, and I got it right here. And it has marshmallow in it.
Marshmallow.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Sol Patchouli or Soleil. I'm not sure if there's an accent. Soleil Patchouli by Vertus. It's from Paris, so I'm not sure the pronunciation, but it is patchouli, marshmallow, and civet.
Huh.
Yeah, and it lasts like a nuclear amount supposedly. And he can help us on that, but everyone says it's like a beast mode. And that one really intrigues me actually.
That sounds really interesting.
It does. It does.
Sounds
And
weird, but
as we
interesting.
said, we are going to get sometime this calendar year. We will get Julio on this show.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, yeah, he said he's available on Saturday, so
Okay.
we'll work something out with you, Julio.
Y-
Trust
Yeah. And
that.
let's do the next one. Let's do it like we'll plan it well in advance so we make sure that we get him in there.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm excited about that.
yeah, yeah. Me too. Yeah.
And then while you're thinking, too, I was going to mention, how we usually talk in some scary movies at some point.
Mhm.
I have to admit that I saw recently one I didn't necessarily care for, which was I don't want to take us too much off topic, but we usually talk about it. Yeah, the Black Phone.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think about that?
I, I
I didn't like it.
so to me, the Black Phone is an example. I don't know if it is, but I heard it was Stephen King's, I think, son that directed it. But
Really?
to me, it has a very the overall feel to that movie that it was somebody's first film they directed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of their maiden film.
Okay.
I don't know that to be the case. I could be way off. Could be their 80th. I have no idea. But my feeling was it really has kind of like a college kid or somebody coming out of like film school, and it's their first full length feature. It's a bit rough.
So you just didn't like the cuts or the story, or
Yeah, the story.
okay?
I'm not buying. I'm just not buying that it's one particular case only. There are too many holes in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, way too many. I mean, it's a decent movie to watch it once. I wasn't bored. I will definitely say that, right?
Okay.
but would I recommend it? I can't say I would. Would I watch it again? No. Would I buy it on DVD? No, for two
Yeah.
reasons. No, hardly anyone ever does anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, but I still do because I like to support the artist if I like the movie or the director, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would give it maybe like I think I'd give it a C.
I just find it hard to believe that the guy in the black van that was kidnapping the kids, how nobody could figure out who he was. It's
Exactly,
such a small town.
exactly.
Um, and
I mean
then
that
on top of that, the supernatural thing that kind of went along with that felt
yeah.
like they didn't really need that in the movie.
Mhm.
You
Yep,
know,
yep, yep.
it's kind of a little gimmicky, I guess.
Well, not only that, but, uh, it it's just weird, like, yeah, how he would just go downstairs, give the kid the food, and then just go back up, and,
Hmm.
it just seemed random.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so I think the main issue is what you just said, though, was like, the stereotypical, you know, van, a creeper van, and then on
Yeah.
top of it, you're gonna be, like, in a small town going, "Gee, I wonder who it is."
Hmm.
So, yeah, I would give it, like, a C or C plus, I
Okay.
think, in my final rating, somewhere in the C range, so
You gotta go see that new Evil Dead.
I will eventually. I don't know if I'll go to the theater, but I wanna check it out.
Okay.
And then I actually watched another one too, which was, Smile, which I might have mentioned last time because
I think so.
yeah, I think so. I watched it again. That movie really works for me.
Okay.
I really like Smile. I think it's a great movie. I didn't think I would because they were doing the kind of promotion thing. Remember where they were going to, like, football stadiums and remember
That
that where they were acting, yeah, standing in the stadiums. I didn't think I don't like that kind of marketing at all, but, it was a good movie.
that's what they're doing with this new Scream movie. They're, standing in front of a camera for 4 hours, just standing there, and being all creepy.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know if
Kind of
I
weird.
was it Scream 6? I think it's 6.
There's a lot of screams now.
Well, I know I've seen the first 5, so it's either 6 or 7.
Probably the fifth one.
Um,
The IV. I don't know what that stands for. Like the Roman numeral, the one, and then the
is it
V.
V if it's VI, that'd be 6.
I think it. Then it probably is VI.
It's
Probably.
because I know there are 5 because, we just went to 5 not too long ago.
Okay.
So if it's a V, then then an I, then that'd be 6. If it were an I, then a V, then that's 4, but we know that 4 is already out, but
Okay.
yeah, we'll
Probably
find
six.
out. Yeah. So let's get back to fragrance.
Okay.
But I wanted to give you some time to think. Do you have any other thoughts on either 90s freshies or ones that you're looking forward to buying in the future? Which ones are you looking at?
Um. Gosh. It's by Olivia Olagrand, I believe. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. I don't even know how to pronounce the name. All I
Sure.
know is it's like a Chypre. It's a Chypre fragrance.
Hmm.
That one, and then probably Nishane's B126 or 612, or I'm not too sure. I don't remember the name. I just know it's like B6 something.
Okay.
That one's supposed to be like a fougere.
Now,
So
if you had you mentioned a Chypre and then a Fougere. If you
yeah.
had to, I mean, obviously we like what we like, but if you
Mhm.
had to either express which one would be your favorite or think what others would say about you, what type of fragrance would you say you like the most? Like a Fougere, a Chypre, a Gourmand, a Freshie, or is it truly the case that a warm spicy, that you just like what you like?
Uh, but then you're asking me like, what do I like more though, right?
I mean, I am, but I
Okay.
have to tell you that my response really would be I think the actual notes and the interplay of them will dictate things more than the type of fragrance, you know?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I really, really had to, if you looked at my collection, I mean, I would say that the sweet ones and or gourmands will jump out. But I
Okay.
mean, the bottom line though is that I've always loved, Aqua de Joe for crying out loud. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think in the end, it's just going to come down to the actual fragrance
perfume.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I I kinda like more like the old school stuff now. The sweet stuff is cool, but it gets a little old after a while, because they all kinda smell either the same in the dry down or there's not much, like, variance, very linear,
Hmm.
something like that, but then again, like, it doesn't really get that cold. Like, it doesn't stay cold here in Vegas for very long, so we only have a couple months to
Yeah.
wear those ones, but yeah, no, I agree, like, however the notes, because like, the notes could be you could see all these notes listed for a fragrance, and then it just doesn't smell anything like that, or you
Y-
think it would smell something like this,
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
So, Brian says classics rot, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. He's turned me on to a lot of the classics. Yeah. So
Uh, I'm sorry, Ben. Uh,
no, 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 no problem.
um, hmm, gosh. See, I'm bad at the asking the questions part, which
Oh, no, no,
I should be better at that, but
no
but
worries. No, I'll jump in. I just I'm cognizant that I'm the chatty one, so I usually
no,
try
it's
to.
fine. It's alright.
um, and thanks again for meeting on so early in the morning. Uh, you know,
It's all good.
that was very nice of you, and I appreciate it because, like I said, I was yesterday I was fine, and then last night, I started to feel, kind of under the weather. You can kind of feel when it's coming, so I went and got
Yeah.
medicine. Yeah, and then I woke up feeling not so great. But the fact that the Dr.Goo live stream, is the adrenaline rush that I needed. So. Uh, I will make it through the day. How about this one?
Okay.
Here's my question. One thing I always find that there's a designer class, that there's a niche class, and then I always find these fragrances, or houses, I guess better, which would be kind of
Mhm.
like in them, almost like a third category, because they technically don't just exclude, like Hermes, they
Mhm.
technically don't just do fragrance, but it is considered high perfumery.
Okay.
So I never know, like with certain houses, so I'll just ask: do you consider something like a Montal, a Mancera, or a Dior, or an Hermes? Do you consider those designer niche, or a third category?
Um, I say they're designer.
Would you?
Yeah, like Montel, but Montel, they only do fragrances, right? Or do they make other stuff?
To my knowledge, it's just fragrances, and that's what I mean. Is it's hard, right? Because like, what is so? Here's a better question. What
Okay.
is your definition of niche?
They only they're only they only produce what their niche is.
Okay,
Nothing else.
okay. So essentially, you're looking at. So would you say that Hermes is designer, niche, or something else, a
I would
gray
say
area?
Hermes is designer. Cause, but then it's like, because like in a sense they design multiple things, you know,
Sure, right.
um,
That's why
different
I'm asking.
categories of stuff, and all the money that they have, they don't just throw toward one item like,
Hmm.
indie houses or niche houses do, because, um, they have so much other things to support and to promote and stuff like that. With niche,
Yeah.
indie, they can take all their monies, right, and put it toward high quality stuff, high quality oils, or whatever they do
Hmm.
to make that fragrance. That's what makes them niche, in my opinion.
Okay. No, no, that's good because I admit that Terre d'Hermes for me is hard to call designer.
Okay.
It's hard for me to call a Terre d'Hermes because it does feel like it's a niche. When I spray it, when I wear it, when I look
Mhm.
at it, the bottle, everything, I feel like we are fully in niche quality. But
Okay.
I concede that obviously Hermes is known for yeah, Hermes is known for other things as well as like the Cartier. when I did the Declaration. Of course, they're known for many things, especially watches.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I
But I
mean,
mean, like designer doesn't have to mean that it's low quality.
well, that's the issue, right? The issue is, and then can the reverse be true? Can a niche company be of relatively poor quality, but maybe it just sells well?
100%.
Okay,
Like, um, like Mancera, sometimes, their stuff is
careful,
very,
careful.
very, very, very synthetic sometimes.
Certainly, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
certainly.
so I would, with like Oud Lemon Mint, right?
Hmm.
I hate that one. I just think it's way too synthetic. I
Yeah.
think that like they probably could have did a better job with that. Um, so that's an example of like a niche house that is really bad.
Hmm.
Not really bad, but that fragrance is bad from that house.
Sure, sure, exactly.
But
No,
I
I
wouldn't
know what you mean.
necessarily say that they are niche, but sometimes they don't put out as good quality as they probably should. I know they got the money.
What is your yeah, that's not even a close call. What is your favorite and least favorite, or what are your favorite and least favorite niche houses?
Okay. Brian says,
And gotta head to work. Have a great day. Okay, you too, Brian. I hope the
see you
shift
later.
isn't too long. He's got some long shifts sometimes.
So you said what's my favorite and least favorite?
Yeah, of what you would consider niche houses.
My favorite niche houses, I'd have to say probably, of course, Amouage. There you go. Nishane,
Mm,
another good one. Nishane, Parfums de Marley, another great one. Um, Otto Prezi, Nasamato,
yeah, yeah, that one.
of course. And then probably my worst, I want to say uh, TT, like Tizzy Terenzi.
Oh,
Just because I find that a lot of their fragrances are clones, like they're niche versions of clones of a fragrance, so they really
hmm,
don't have their
yeah,
um they're not like original, you know what I
yeah.
mean? I could even go as far as say like PDM really isn't that original either, so they can, but PDM's kind of like teetering in between
It is.
being good and bad because I would like to see them actually come out with something original.
Hmm.
Um, hold on, Julio says Francesca Bianchi is his favorite house.
Okay. I know he mentioned a while back one of the fragrances from that house, but I didn't realize that was his favorite house. Okay. I Bianchi. All right.
And then I guess for another one of my favorites, probably be Hiram Green, the House of Hiram Green,
Mm,
because it's all like all natural. He used all natural ingredients. Another good house is Rogue Perfumery. It's another great one. I mean,
and that's Rogue. Okay.
RUG or ROUGE or
Uh-huh.
however you spell Rogue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and he uses like for the one that I've got, super realistic oak moss.
Hmm.
I think it is real oak moss, to be honest. Uh,
I will certainly
well, I'm gonna send you a sample of that one
okay. All
'cause I
right.
still I have a package. I have stuff I still need to send you in the mail.
Is that you're persistent, because I knew you had mentioned you were going to send another one.
Mhm.
You're determined to keep my channel going through this calendar year, aren't you?
Yeah, and then into the next year and the next year.
You think so? I think it might be time to pass the torch to Dr.Goo, but I do appreciate that, and I've had so much fun actually with the ones you sent the first time. It was really great, and then I've got from now when I bought the red tobacco
Yeah,
through Lucky Scent. I got like four, I think it was. I think four fragrances that are from niche houses and samples that I'll be checking out
the little vials.
after this week. Yeah, yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun to check that out. So I'm looking forward to that without the shadow of a doubt. And then how about the same question on the designer side? Favorite
Oh,
house and then least favorite house.
Paco Rabanne, gotta be my favorite. Then my least favorite house. I want to say, hey, I think it's Jesus del Toro or something like that. Like
Del
Halloween.
Pozo.
Hmm?
I think it's Del Pozo.
Is it Del Pozo?
Yeah, it's the one with like Halloween.
Yeah.
It's Jesus del Pozo.
Okay, so I guess I'd say that's probably my least favorite.
I will triple check, but if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's either de or del, and then it's if he's from Spain, it'd be Pozo, but if not, it's Pozo. Let's see, Halloween Man is one of them. So I'm looking, and that is no by Halloween. Maybe I went to the wrong.
Oh, okay.
Didn't he do Halloween?
Yeah, yeah. The Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. It is Jesus del Pozo.
Okay. All right.
And then I don't know if it's a Spanish company or Latin American. Let's see. I'm curious to look. It is Madrid. Yeah.
Is it-
Yeah. So it'd be Del Pozo if you want to use like the proper way of saying it from where he's from. It'd be Jesus del Pozo. So that's your least favorite, you said?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what about you? I know your favorite's probably Giorgio Armani, huh?
It's going to be difficult Paco Rabanne's up there though. I really like, they're maybe not the bottles and the display and the presentation, but I just like the fact that Paco Rabanne just kind of like Armani, they just kind of get it done.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really do. And there haven't been any Giorgio Armani's that I don't like. I mean,
Okay.
the thing I love about that house is that I've always really enjoyed everything that I've tried from that house. Is it the most original? Probably not, but I do like that, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the designer side, if I can see, that's why I was asking about like things like Dior and Hermes earlier, right?
Okay.
Because then it gets a little more complicated because I do feel like those are elevated into niche, but I fully concede your definition is the one I should go by, right? I mean, they do other things. So if they are a designer, then I'd have to probably bring in something like a tie with Armani and Hermes.
Okay.
If we're going to call them designer, right?
Yeah.
Least favorite's tough though. Boy, I don't know if I could really come up with like a least favorite house.
Okay. Like what
Because
and
there
like
have
what
been
fragrance
fragrances,
okay.
right? There have
Yeah.
been fragrances that I outright did not like. Okay, a few years ago, I would have said Bulgari. A few years ago, I would have said that
Okay. Right.
because I went through like four of them that had like almost no longevity, and I was
Really?
not gonna. Yeah, I
Was it
was
from their
really
Essence line or
no. It was well, one of them was Aqua,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and I just stopped buying the Bugattis, but then I like the last three I reviewed, I really enjoyed, so I have to take them off the list.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay, so he's going back to lunch break is over. Thanks for popping in, Julio.
See you later, Julio.
Yeah, least favorite designer house. I mean, my least favorite designer marketing is easily Paco Rabanne, but that's just because it's cheeseball. But as far as the fragrances, I love them. So, man, I don't think I can come up with like a least favorite designer house. Least favorite niche house. I hate to say this. I mean, it's also and the bottom line is I don't want to go on record as saying it, but
Yeah.
I mean the creeds just last like 2 or 3 hours, and I don't. Two things I'll say about Creed.
Okay.
One is that whole it depends on which batch you have. I don't want to hear that, you
Yeah.
know. And then the second thing though is I will say is when I met the Creed reps in San Francisco at the mall, they were. I mean, they
Rude.
could not. Yeah, no, the opposite. They could
Oh,
not have been better. They were outstanding actually, and so I feel like I want to take that into consideration because I went to the mall. And my buddy dropped me off. It was a 1 day thing where he dropped me off and then was going to swing by and pick me back up again, right?
yeah.
So I was just there, and I was 110% on vacation. It was just me, And while he was at work, I went to the mall, and so I was just totally like I was in like a punk band T-shirt
Okay.
and shorts and like a backwards baseball cap. I mean, I was like the least Creed looking person, you know what I mean, for the
Uh-huh.
target audience. And I asked them a question, and they ended up giving me a lot of samples that I used for this channel.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, and they were really, really cool. And I said, look, I'm not in the market for that. And they're no problem. Don't worry. We just like talking fragrance. And so, uh,
That's awesome.
they saved my popularity ratings for Creed went up after meeting those guys. Yeah, as far as like again, same thing, a full on house favorite niche, I'd still say Amouage was easily my favorite. Then it went to a point where I was starting to think that they might lose their spot.
Okay.
But I feel like, is it Wong or Chong? I think it's Christopher Wong. Remember the creative director
Yeah.
when he left and they started changing the bottle design? Yeah,
Mhm.
that's when I was like, okay, I'm not really sure about this, but it seems like the quality is still there. So I feel like I'd have to say, still after all these years, Amouage is probably my favorite niche.
Now, you've heard of their new line that they released, right?
What
Where
is it?
it's like search and
Oh
like
yeah, yes,
search and
yeah.
do any of those sound interesting to you? Are you wanting to sample their new stuff, or are you kind of like on the fence a little
I'm
bit?
on the fence. I'm on the
Okay.
fence. But I have to say that for a while I would even say lukewarm. But then once I started smelling things like beachhead. So Ramsey, you remember Ramsey?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me a few back in the day, and
Yeah.
that kind of got me. And one of them was beachhead.
Really? Okay.
So what was the release on beachhead? Was it like 2017 around there?
I think so. I think it
So it
was
was around maybe
actually.
20. The point is though is that I kind of got out of them for a while, and then I sampled those and really did like them.
Okay.
Enclave was another one,
Yeah, the mint one.
the mint one.
Yeah.
And so at this point, I would say I'm on the fence. No negative. I'm not. But I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay. Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, same. I want to try it. I I don't have high hopes,
Uh
to be
huh.
honest. They don't seem very challenging,
Yeah,
um,
that's the worry.
or unique enough. I feel like they're going in a direction to kind of mass please,
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
which is fine, but, like, I mean, when you're known for not really being mass pleasing or being different enough to separate yourself from, like, the pack, then it kinda is, a letdown. Also,
yeah,
with their with I don't know if it's the IFRA or whatever oils or however they're doing their manufacturing process now, uh, the longevity is probably not good.
hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
that's a
I
bummer.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried their new line yet, so I can't speak on that. But I'm just
Sure.
from you know experience from like especially like the new Jube 2025. Like longevity on that one is just terrible.
Oh, no way. Don't tell me
Yeah,
that. Jubilation 25?
yeah.
Oh,
The new
really?
one, yeah, the
Oh,
newer
man, that's a
batches.
bummer
I know.
because, remember that was the only niche I've ever given a 6 out of 5. In fact, uh, that is or was at least my absolute, like, all-time favorite fragrance.
Okay.
Um, if I take the emotional part out of the Aqua di Gio is more of like a reminiscing thing. Uh,
Mhm.
just on smell, right? Just on as a reviewer, I would say that Jubilation 25 is because I don't like buzzwords, but that one is one I would use opulent. I would.
Okay.
And regal, and that is really a downer. That I mean, I'm not surprised, right?
Yeah. I mean, they probably had to reform it.
I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard at least back in the day they said I think Hermes was one of the few that had never done a reformulation of their fragrances, but I don't know if that's the case anymore.
I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they just make so much money, don't they? They know they got us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Or they
I
got
would
me.
actually,
So
I would actually take that into consideration when I gave a review, though. Meaning, if there were houses that you know, that did not dilute their product. I don't remember the exact numbers, but when I first started doing this, I used to think that like eau de parfum and parfum were the same. And then what is it, like extrait de parfum?
Yeah.
Like all those terms, I used to think they were kind of interchangeable. So I remember I looked up once, and I think it was a bonus feature for one of my episodes where and there's actually a range. It's
Okay.
like 8 to 20%, alcohol or whatever the range is. And so I think what they do is probably start us off pretty high,
Yeah.
and then they taper it down
Yeah.
to the point that it's still technically in that category. I hope that's not the case, but it probably is.
Probably. I mean, we never know, right? Until
Yeah. I mean, least favorite would have been PDM for me up until Ojan.
okay.
Because like I said earlier, I didn't get why people like the other ones so much.
Mhm.
I mean, I thought they were nice, but I just didn't really, get it
You
that
didn't
much.
understand the hype.
Didn't understand the hype. Didn't
Okay.
understand the hype. But I certainly, definitely, Ojan is definitely the, a Ben like fragrance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just straight up cinnamon. Like I remember when I first got it, I sprayed it, and I was like, "Hmm, it's just straight cinnamon."
Uh huh.
I thought there was nothing else in there but cinnamon. But then as you wear it more, it kind of like it shows itself a little bit more.
Well, and the risk that people who don't like the warm, spicy ones will always say things like, it smells like a Yankee Candle,
Yeah, or
right?
it smells like the stuff you boil in a pot,
Uh huh.
like mixed
Yes.
with like that.
Potpourri.
Yeah, potpourri. Yeah,
Uh
exactly.
huh. It does. Yeah. 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 Uh huh. It absolutely does. At least that's the complaint. So you either like that or you don't. And then I personally do like that, but
Okay.
each person's going to be different on that.
Um. Hmm. Um.
What else we got, or are we wrapping up?
I guess we can wrap up. I guess we can wrap up. Yeah, because I know you're not feeling very well, and you got a little meeting to go to, huh?
In a little while, if you, I'm feeling much better after the
Are you?
Dr.Goo experience. Yes, yes, and so I kind of thought that and a blast of coffee I knew would get me through. But
So you drink coffee every morning, then?
practically, yep.
So when did you get addicted?
Grad school, so
Really?
probably, yeah. I mean, once I started to have to really, really like study a lot,
Okay.
um, and then but not just like after when you're as an undergrad, like most of the time you can quote unquote just study. Not that that's easy because it's a lot, but I mean, once I had to work a lot and on top of it study a lot,
Okay.
and then you start getting into you know um, just everything, like a family dynamic, right? Just
Okay.
all of the responsibilities that come. Yeah, that's when it really started to become a situation of give me an IV full of caffeine, please.
Caffeine. So this might be a little personal. You don't have to answer this, but what
Sure.
did you go to school for?
What's that?
What'd you graduate for? Like, what'd you study for?
No, that's not too personal. My degree was in Spanish linguistics.
Oh,
So So I'm a linguist.
okay.
And so that's why I usually
Okay.
look at
That's
the
awesome.
etymology, yeah, of the nomenclature and things like that. I certainly enjoy that quite a bit. So yes, my degree is in linguistics.
That's awesome. All right. Because I was so curious. I'm like, he's got to either be a teacher, something. You know, you be speaking. So how many languages can you speak then?
Well, I mean, now, so the term that we use is structural familiarity. So
Okay.
I speak three. I speak English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
Okay.
Speak now, right?
Yeah.
I spoke other ones, especially at a like a tourist, level,
Okay.
to be able to go to their countries and speak them. I spoke other languages But at this point, I would definitely say 3, and then I have structural familiarity
with others.
of 5 others. Yeah, where I could talk to you about the language. I could maybe say a few sentences or phrases, but I certainly would not want to, yeah, claim, after all these years, especially, right? It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's just like anything, you have to keep it up, and so if you don't keep it up, it goes away.
Yep.
Now, if I went to those countries, so like if I went to, Germany or Holland, well,
Okay.
the Netherlands, I'm sure the phrases would come back quickly.
Okay.
But like on the fly, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
speak them. Yeah, so the term is structural familiarity. So
Okay. All right. I was just curious. I was really interesting.
I'm bummed that I don't speak French, actually.
Is is that one of the languages that you wanted to speak, or
That I would want to, yes.
yeah?
I had a choice years ago. I had a choice between, I had to either take German or French, and I took German because in my area it's more,
Okay.
for reading articles and things like that. It was better at the time,
Okay.
for German. Um, but now, with all the fragrance stuff, uh, I really wish I spoke French. So either way, it's still fun because it's a fun language. But
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, this uh yeah, I think we'll wrap up. I think we'll wrap up.
let's wrap up. And I appreciate again, for all the viewers out there who are watching this later on. Dr. Goo woke up way, way early in the morning, just to make sure that we got this worked in. So I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Darius.
Yeah, no problem, Ben. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to go check Ben out. He's awesome. Uh, he does great reviews every Friday. That's right, Ben.
Every Friday.
Every Friday, and yeah, guys, catch you later. All right. How do I end this? And oh, right here in the corner.
Leave studio? We'll figure
Or
it
it's
out.
end broadcast.
What's this thing about the internet here?